Welcome back, everybody. This is the machining part of the marble game.
First operation that we're going to do, we've already cut and sized our blank, and now we're going to just take about 0.010 off the surface to make everything level with the gantry, so that when we do our V-carve stuff it all comes out okay. So here we go. I have 1.5 inch surfacing bit in here. So I'm going to do the Z height, and then I'm going to run the pocket path to do the leveling. So here we go. Let's bring it down. And we will use our plate. Say OK. We go down, touch off, and it sets our Z height. And we say OK. Another thing that I'm using is the control panel. I really like using the control panel. You can use the control panel with the pendant. Right now I was working off of the pendant, so if I want to work on the control panel I hit this, and now I have taken over control of my project with the control panel. So we go to load file, go to games, and the first thing that we're going to do is this pocket here, and this pocket will surface everything down. So here's our pocket. It will surface it down. It will give us a 14 by 14. A couple of things that you need to know: if you hit the space bar, that's like hitting the E stop. And all of the functions are here. The thing I really like is that you can see what's going on. So let's go ahead and start it up. So we will come here, run the job. Okay, we're ready to start our next operation, which is going to be V-carving out our logo. It's going to be 3 steps. It's going to be a 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and then the 60-degree V-carve bit. So the first thing we're going to do is hog out some material with our 1/4 inch bit. So we're going to go ahead and set its Z height. Go to plate, say OK, touch. There's our Z height set. We'll go over to the software. We will load our file, which is the clear path number 2. Open it, load it. As you can see, we're whacking out on the shark. We're going to now take control and we're ready to run our program. So here we go. Okay, we're ready now to use our 1/8 inch bit to get into a little bit more of the corners. So let's go ahead and set the Z height on that and then run the program. So let's bring our bit down a little bit. Go to plate, say OK, touch to make sure we got a complete circuit. Say OK. Let's set our Z height. Take the pad out. Say OK. Go over here and take control again. We'll load a new file. The clear tap 2, open it, load it. As you can see, it does a lot more because it's a smaller bit, and go ahead and run it. Okay, this is the last operation for the V-carve part of this logo. So I've got the 60-degree V-carve bit loaded up, and let's go ahead and do our touch plate for our Z-axis and get on working this program. Okay, let's load the program. This is the last file here for our V-carve on the logo. Say OK. Everything looks pretty good. Let's take control and go ahead and run our program. Okay, we're in the segment now. We're ready to prep this for the inlay, and I'm going to spray it with It's Not Shellac from Crystal-Lac in order to seal the wood up so we don't get any bleeding when we do our inlay with our polyester. So here we go. You want to soak this in real good because we want to make sure we don't get any bleeding when we do this polyester, for the very fact it will bleed up the grain and then we'll have streaks. So by sealing it real good, we get rid of that issue. Well, we minimize it. And I put a very liberal coat on. And I'll do this probably about 3 or 4 times so I get a good saturation into this. So the next thing we'll do is put the polyester in the inlay. I'll give it a couple more coats. Okay, now we go to our control panel. We go to load file, and I've got it under games, and we are going to do the V-carve #1 tab. And what they do is, as you can see on the picture here, we have the starts. We already have our 60-degree V-bit loaded and the Z height set. So we're ready to run the program. So let's go ahead and run the program. Okay, we're done doing our V-carve. Now we're ready to drill our holes for the marbles. I have a 3/8 round nose bit in here. I have to set the Z height on it, and then we're ready to run our drilling program for our marble holes. So here we go. I'm going to bring it down a little bit so it's closer to the touchpad. Go to plate, say OK, touch, say OK, there's our Z height set, say OK. Now we're ready to go over to the software and take control of the machine with the software. We're going to load a file. The file we're going to do is the drill file. Open it. It's going to show where we're going to drill our holes. That looks pretty good to me, and everything looks good, so let's go ahead and run this thing. Okay, now we're ready to do our final machining operation, and that is cutting the profile out. I've installed a 1/4 inch upcut bit, and we're ready to do the Z height, and then we'll be ready to run the program. So let's do this and get her going. Okay, let's bring it down just a little bit. Go to plate, say OK, verify that we got a good connection, say OK. Our Z height is set. Remove our plate. Say OK. Let's go over to the computer program and take control, which we have. Load our file. Our last file is our profile. Open it. Yes, we want to load it. And as you can see, it's basically just a square. So let's go ahead and run our job.
Now that we're done with our profile, we are now ready for the next segment of our video, and that is finishing an assembly. So I will see you in the next installment of the video. The video is finishing and assembly. Thank you.